We're Jill and John Nelson, geezers, and it seems like we're always on the go. In this episode, we'll be at Buccaneer State Park in Waveland, Mississippi. It's right on the Gulf of Mexico and about 45 miles southwest of Biloxi. The park is situated near St. Louis Bay, once a favorite hangout of pirates such as John Lafitte. There are 208 campsites with full hookups in the interior part of this campground. The loops all have pirate names, like the Lafitte Loop, and there's also Blackbeard, Pirates Cove, and Treasure Cove. When we got to Buccaneer State Park, the weather was really nice and pleasant, but that was going to change pretty quick. Our next stops were Louisiana and Texas, and they were locked in an epic freeze, so we had to make all kinds of changes to our itinerary. This was our second site here at Buccaneer State Park. We ended up staying because the weather turned very cold and we had to change some reservations. But this one actually is nicer than our last site. This is site 12 in Jean Lafitte Loop. Lots of nice trees towards the back. Come around. John reading. It's only about 30 degrees, but the sun is out, which is nice. Finally, it's not raining and blowing, but it's nice area in the back here. They have more trees, so you feel a little more secluded. But we have to move again tomorrow until we go down to another campsite. At the front of the park, there's a big parking lot that runs right next to the water park. And this camping here, there is camping in this sort of parking lot area, has all along the end here, has water and electric, no sewer. And it's a little more expensive, but it's a first come first serve. You can't make any reservations. You have to come in, hope there's a site. These also are first come first serve, and you can stay as many nights as you like because you have to just make sure there's a site when you get in. This is the back loop of Buccaneer State Park. As you can see, these sites are not paved. They're basically dirt and gravel, but there are a few people back here. They have water, electric, and sewer, and as you can see, as I mentioned before, a lot of where the power comes from, they're up on stilts, so if it is flooded, it sort of saves it from going down, I guess, in a hurricane or big flood area. Not a bad place back here if it's a little more secluded, and if you don't mind the dirt and gravel, it does have your full hookups, water, electric, and sewer.
It's a really pretty park. They've lost some trees because of hurricanes over the years, and there are a few drawbacks to it. It's the inner loops, the pirate loops, they're kind of far away from the oceans or from the Gulf, so it's hard to walk.
It'd be a far walk. I mean, if you were just want to do your jogging and got to the beach, that'd be fine, but if you have some kids, it'd be hard to carry all their toys and the towels and the chairs, so you could take your bike.
I don't have a bike. You have a bike.
I have a bike, but I'm not taking on the handlebars.
Oh, darn.
But there's a little parking lot. You could go out to the front, and if there's space, you'd be a little closer to the Gulf.
Yeah, and the other thing that you need to watch out about this park is don't follow Google Maps directions.
No.
There's it will take you across a set of railroad tracks that will high center you easy. So
yeah, we got some information before we went that said don't do it, go on this other road. And it says the best way to go is if you're coming off Route 90. There's a road called the Lakeshore Road that comes off right before where the casino is, and take that road because it's the best and flattest route.
The railroad crossing's nice and flat.
Yes.
Outside of that, I mean, the park has some really nice amenities. The playground is a favorite kids' hangout at Buccaneer. Then there's disc golf and something you don't see very often at a state park, a pool with a waterfall.
It's not very deep. It's only about 2.5 feet deep, but it'll cool you off in the hot summertime here in Mississippi. I'm sure it's a very popular place. Along with there's a water park at the other end of the state park. It was early in the year, so both the pool and the water park were closed when we were there. So if you wanted to get your feet wet, you had to go down to the Gulf. That's just what I did. You might get a little wet. I got wet. Such a difference a day makes. Yesterday there were white caps out here on the Gulf. Today just nice and calm. So calm. I'm going to put my feet in. Ooh, a little chilly, but not too bad. Since we are the geezers on the go, we do like to travel around to see what's what in the area. Like to check out the local flavor, foods, and just what kind of attractions they might have.
Yeah, we don't like to stay in the park all the time. There were a couple of small towns very nearby the state park there. First was Waveland, which was actually the town that the park's in and was ground zero for Hurricane Katrina 16 years ago.
Yeah, there's actually there's not much to the actual town still. There's only a few buildings. You have to drive out to Highway 90 to do any shopping. That's actually Waveland. But just down the road about 6 miles on Beach Boulevard is Bay St. Louis.
Yeah, which is full of, neat little places and you'll see.
Yeah, and you can't go real fast getting there because it's only 25 miles an hour, but it's a nice little drive. You get to see big houses and nice along the Gulf.
Yeah, take your time and enjoy the view. There's Jill. She does most of the driving when we're not pulling. Eyes on the road now, Jill.
I'm looking at some of these big gigantic houses up on stilts. They must be 20 feet at least in the air.
Well, that's probably a good thing, although I understand the storm surge from Katrina was 60 feet, so good luck with that.
I don't think that would have helped. And 160 mile an hour winds. There's lots of history in this area. Besides all the pirates that roamed along the coastline, President Andrew Jackson once had a house on what is now the state park grounds. And right now we're headed for Waveland, which was where Hurricane Katrina first made landfall in 2005. We're going to visit the Ground Zero Museum. It's an old schoolhouse that was one of the few buildings in Waveland to survive the big hurricane. This is the timeline for Katrina, and in this building, if you step back, that blue line shows you how much water was in this building. It's the only one that survived on this block. All the numbers tell you the different days for Katrina.
And now we're off to the neighboring town of Bay St. Louis, with its curious shops, restaurants, marinas, and of course the Mardi Gras Museum.
With the Mardi Gras Museum.
They do love their Mardi Gras down here.
There we go. These are some of the amazing dresses that are all handmade. I had a friend on Facebook tell me they can cost up to $50,000 to create. All I know is they're pretty gorgeous. We spent nearly 2 weeks at Buccaneer just waiting for the weather to warm up. But when we finally did move, it was only about 2 miles down the road to the Silver Slipper Casino's RV resort. And we don't even gamble. The Silver Slipper RV park basically has 2 little campgrounds, only about a half a mile from the casino, which is just a little bit south of the campground. And as you can see, you're right across from the beach. This campground, this first section of campground starts at number 1, and I think there's about 20 or 25 or so campsites. This one has like a double row of campsites that are right along the water, or right along the road, directly across from the beach. That's that side. And then this side is basically along the marshland, and that's where we are. Right there, our White Hawk with all the flags and the whirly jiggers. Today's a Saturday, so it's a little bit more crowded today, but when we got here there were very few people. Probably during the week it isn't quite so crowded, so we'll see, because we're going to be here for a few days. But as you can see, it has 2 rows. When you come here, you call them up, you come to your site, you call them and tell them you're here, and an attendant from the casino will come and unlock the power box. We got a night free for joining the casino's players club, and some of our neighbors told us they got comp nightly for just losing a few bucks at the tables. This is what it looks like sort of from our campsite. Just across the road is the Gulf.
We found this little fishing harbor behind the casino, but by then it was time to move on once again. So as the sun rises, it marks the end of another episode for us geezers. Thanks for watching, and see you down the road.